4, 3, 2, 1.
Racing World is presented by Race Control Magazine.
Well, here we go, the very first ever Racing World special, you might say. And the reason we're doing this is because of the fact that we have one unique guest on our show today, and that is the multiple champion from V8 Supercar, now making his IndyCar debut, Scott McLaughlin. Hey, Scott, how excited are you about this prospect of this weekend and your first real race in an IndyCar at St. Petersburg?
I think it's a great opportunity to have a feel. Obviously, I never thought I'd get a chance this year due to the, just with the nature of the beast with, COVID and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely. I've driven the car before, which gives me a little bit more confidence sort of heading into St. Pete, that I sort of know what to expect from a car perspective, but never been on a street track on the IndyCar. I know it's very, very bumpy. The feeling inside the car with the bumps and stuff is going to be a lot different. I've got a lot to learn, but I'm excited for what's ahead. Excited to see what everyone's like, meet some of the media, meet some of the fans, see how a schedule goes like on the weekend. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Hey, Scotty, with everything that's been going on recently in Bathurst and then all the COVID stuff in Australia, and then really not been in the IndyCar since, way back at the COTA test, which just seems like a lifetime ago now, what have you been doing to prepare yourself for this weekend?
So I've definitely lost some weight just to be a little bit lighter for the IndyCars. Weight's obviously a big thing. I've been, all year, my body clock is, going crazy because I've been watching IndyCar in Australia at sort of 3 a.m., 4 a.m. our time. So it's been good to get to know how some guys race, how the teams work, how the pit stops and the cautions work. Just little things that you can pick up with the coverage. The coverage that NBC does is amazing, and the way that IndyCar gets that to Australia is so cool. So I've been able to really enjoy that part. And then from a driving perspective, at the Indy 500, I sort of was listening into sort of Alio's radio, and because they are my crew guys, the three cars, they're all of my pit crew, my engineers. They're all very similar, so it was nice to have an idea and a bit of an introduction to how everyone talks and gets through the race weekend.
Everyone always talks about frequent flyer miles, but boy, you've racked them up this weekend. What was it like getting out of, say, Bathurst and then getting all the way to where you are now?
I basically jumped on a plane straight away. Bathurst is about 2 hours west of Sydney, so I flew quickly to Sydney. Had stayed the night in Sydney and then flew 10:30 a.m. Monday morning to America, to California, and California to Charlotte. And then that night, so that was Monday night, and I went straight to the simulator that night. So I did basically a 4 or 5 hour session on the simulator to about 10 o'clock. It was probably the best thing for my jet lag because I feel amazing right now because I stayed up. And then I went back to the simulator on Tuesday, plus seeing the guys, little bit of a seat fit here and there. And then the last couple of days, Wednesday, Thursday, it's just been, just seeing everyone and seeing, getting acquainted with the team a bit more. But everyone's sort of, taken a couple of days off before St. Pete. So myself and my wife, we've sort of just been, having a look around and hanging out and staying safe. And now we head to St. Pete tonight.
Well, Scott, it's the age-old question, expectations for the weekend. I'm sure plenty of people have asked you that, but deep down, personally, what goals do you have for the weekend?
I think if I finish top 10, I'll be doing cartwheels. I'll be going crazy. But I think, look, it depends on what goes on. I'm fully expecting a tough battle. I'm not, even if I might have a great experience running last. I don't know. It's not going to change the way how I feel or whatever. I've got a lot to learn, so I'm fully expecting that I could be last. So but at the end of the day, as long as I get a good feel for the category, good feel for the cars, we'll be all right.
Scott, just wrapping it up, and we thank you so much for your time here on Racing World. Just going back to the race for this weekend, is there a feeling of intimidation maybe about starting in this race and being with all the others and then being on the street circuit at St. Pete?
I think I'd be lying if I said that, I wasn't, I'm feeling some pressure, but it's probably from myself more than anything. Like I'm pretty hard on myself in regards to, where I'm at in terms of, even on the simulator, I was like a little bit slower than the guys. And most people would be pretty happy sort of where I was, but I wasn't. Like, I wanted to be closer than I was, and which wasn't far. So there's a probably, wouldn't say an intimidation, but there's an unknown there. I'm excited to see how I fare in a racing situation because I haven't had that before. And like I said, it's going to be a lot different. But I trust my ability. I trust what I can do in a race car, and I trust the process that Team Penske have put me on. I wouldn't be here if they didn't think I was ready and they wanted me to do it. So that gives me already a lot of confidence in the process and what goes on. So probably the only thing I'm just getting used to is the dealing with media, dealing with other things in the team. It's a lot bigger than what I'm used to.
Well, then there's the big thing that everyone's been talking about here. Not only do we have one Scott already in IndyCar, we now have two Scotts. Have you had the chance to catch up with Dixon at all?
He doesn't get enough credit in New Zealand either. New Zealand's full of rugby, and motorsport sort of takes a bit of a back seat. So, what he's done, even with five championships, to be going for his sixth is phenomenal. But very excited. I can't explain at Coda at the test the way that the pit lane order worked. Scott was actually behind me. His pit box was right behind me, and rolling out on one of the sessions there, and he was sort of passing me on the outlap because obviously I was a bit slower and whatever. It was surreal, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. I have a tremendous amount of respect for a lot of the drivers, but Scotty has always been someone that in New Zealand is just an icon. What he's done with winning Indy 500s and now the 5 times champion going for his sixth. To be racing him and still be in his era, that's pretty cool, and probably personally just a cool moment for me.
Well, there you have it, our first ever Racing World special with now IndyCar driver Scott McLaughlin. Don't forget you can enjoy all our shows on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor FM. There's a whole range of things, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and look out for us on YouTube. Every Tuesday normally is when the show goes up, so check it out today.
Racing World is presented by Race Control Magazine.